What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Stas here. Welcome back to yet again another video. So in this video, we're going to break down some earnings. We got AMD, Airbnb, Devon Energy, and a couple of other ones to talk about here in this video. And of course, we're going to go over the overall stock market, what I'm doing. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee, and let's dive into the video. And by the way, if you guys want $10 plus up to 15 stocks from Moomoo, use that link down below. And you could also get 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited down below, guys. And with that being said, let's dive into the video. So before we actually talk about these earnings, again, we have AMD, Airbnb, Devon Energy, and a couple of other companies to talk about. Let's take a look here at how the markets ended up closing. Then we'll talk about crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and then, of course, again, we're going to get into these earnings. So SPY ended up going down on the day about 0.4% as the NASDAQ 100 went down double that, actually more than double that, down a little bit over 1%, as we had the Dow down 0.25% and the Russell went up, believe it or not, about 0.25%. And we had the VIX down a little bit. I think the metals, last I checked, were ripping. Yeah, gold's up 0.6, and we have silver up over 2.5%. And like I mentioned in my last video, guys, SPY was holding the 180 SMA right here on the 20-day, 1-hour chart. And look at this. We ended up closing above it as well. So pretty much really at this point, nothing much has changed from my last video. You know, we hit the highs, like I said, here on SPY. We rather took the highs out from last week and yesterday, which is good here for the bulls, and we pretty much sold off after that for the entire day. You can see here on the intraday chart, well, actually not the entire day. Honestly, a lot of the selling came in the morning, where SPY went from 390 to about 383. That was a drop of about 1.7%, and then pretty much from noon on the East Coast until the close, this thing was flat. It consolidated here in the mid 380s. You guys can see that. So let's see what happens. I mean, we have a couple of companies reporting earnings, and it looks like here SPY is moving down a little bit even after the bell. So let's see how this develops. You know, do we get buyers here on the 180 SMA? Do they come in the mid 380s? That's the million-dollar question. And for Triple Q, let's pull it up. This ended up closing pretty much right where it was in my last video, at about 275. Really, just the mid 270s here in general. You're gonna want to watch it, considering this is the trend that we've held for the past couple of weeks, as indicated here on the 20-day chart. So if we ultimately fail at about, let's say, 270, 275, we dump under the lows from last week, being about 269. There's probably going to be some selling towards 260, low 260s. But if we get buying pressure here in the mid 270s, which we haven't gotten yet, but who knows, we'll see at some point this week, this could end up maybe popping back up towards 280, 285, and obviously 285, like I've been saying on the channel, like a madman. That's a big resistance. If that were to break, then we could be going even higher. So it's really just a waiting game at this point, especially for Triple Q. Let's see what happens here in the mid 270s. And again, SPY, let's see what happens at about 385, 390. These are some key levels that I am looking at. So with that being said, let's transition over here. Actually, before we talk about crypto, let's see what oil's up to. I haven't checked oil. I don't think I've covered it this week yet on the channel. Oil currently is up 2.1%. Pretty nice green day for oil today, right around $88.50 a barrel. And you guys can see on the 4-hour here, we're not quite yet breaking out, even though we're above the moving averages, as you guys can see, especially if I zoom in. Let me show you that. Again, we're not breaking out, but we are, at a point where we could, right around the corner, break out if we do end up breaking 90 a barrel. And this trend line that I've drawn out right here, where clearly you guys can see we're making lower highs, right? We hit a high here at $98, another one at $93.94. That was in the beginning of October. And then, well, right now in real time, we're struggling at $88.90. So if we do crack 90 a barrel, guys, in the short term on oil, by the looks of it, there's probably going to be some more upside, maybe to the mid 90s a barrel, towards 100 a barrel even. That's totally possible. So mark is at or above 90 a barrel is where I'm setting my alert here. And now with that being said, let's go over to crypto and see what in the world's going on, which, surprise guys, surprise, crypto is not doing much different from when we covered it last. I mean, sure, it's up a little bit. Ethereum's up about 0.2% right now, up over $2, which is nothing. It's at $15.75 per coin right now. And what we're noticing at this point is really what I've been saying. We have resistance at this point that I'm outlining right now. You can see here over the past couple of months, weeks, we've been trading in this downwards downwards pattern, and you can see here we're making lower highs. And until Ethereum breaks out of this point, until we get upside, let's say towards 16, 17, 1800 a coin, and honestly, until we break out of 1750, 1800, which was the high from the middle of September, until we break out of there, guys, I'm going to be skeptical. And at this point, there is no doubt in my mind a chance that this is a bull trap, that maybe this thing ends up dumping back to 13, 1400 a coin, or maybe even lower than that. So keep that in mind, guys. Seriously, here on Ethereum, it's been looking good. It's up a ton in the past couple of days, weeks, whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, there could still be selling pressure right around the corner. So let's see Bitcoin. And then we'll cover Doge. Why not? We'll take a look at Doge as well in this video. Do you guys own Doge? I don't. Let me know if you do in the comments down below. Bitcoin right now is at 20,500, and this is pretty much the same as what we've been seeing with Bitcoin. It's pretty flat. I mean, sure, it did pop a couple days ago, about a week ago, whatever. Went from 19 to about 21, but now it's in the mid-20s, again, 20,500. And until it either picks, 22,000 or 23,000, breaks out of there, or breaks under 18,000, we're going to be in this little $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 window. We're going to be trading range bound, and to be honest, we're going to be directionless, because if you look here on the daily chart, you can see we've been flat for months. Weekly chart, well, you can't really see it there, but you guys know. I mean, if you've been following my channel and you watch the crypto portions of the videos, you know that crypto has been pretty boring over the past couple of weeks. Sure, it's been choppy. I mean, you can make a lot of money day trading this, but if you want to swing trade it, or pick a direction, it hasn't been working out, because it's just been flat. It's hard to really take a longer term trade on this. But again, if you're day trading it, it's really good, because there's a ton of volatility in the short term, day to day. But, if you're looking to swing trade with a time horizon of, let's say, a couple weeks or a month or something like that, it's been very difficult to do that. So let's see Dogecoin, ticker symbol DOGE. I don't even know if it's not a ticker symbol. I mean, it's not the stock market, guys. It's freaking Dogecoin. Dogecoin right now is this even it? Why does it say it's at 6 cents? Actually, no, it doesn't. It's at 14 cents right now. Okay, wow. So there it goes. It's moving up another 10% on the day, and it looks like it's starting to, it actually did take the highs out by the looks of it here from when we initially spiked up. When was that? A couple days ago? Let me see here on the maybe 10-minute chart. We'll be able to see it. We hit that on the 29th of October. We hit about 15-ish cents on the lower end, but now we hit the higher end of 15 cents, almost 16 cents per coin. That was about a couple of hours ago, actually about 12 hours ago. And, now it's come down to about 13.9, almost 14 cents. So it looks like directionally in the short term here on the 10-day chart, or 10-minute chart rather, Dogecoin looks pretty bullish. It's breaking out of this. The descending triangle didn't play out, but remember, we also said it looked like a bull flag, which that bull flag played out. And who knows? It could be going up even more in the short term. It could be. But, not to burst your bubble, but here on the, I just said bubble butt. here on the daily chart, whatever, you can see it's still in a downtrend, right? We covered this many times on the channel here. And even though it's up, again, 10%, and even though it broke the highs from a couple of days ago, it is still on a downtrend, so keep that in mind. So with that being said, guys, let's wrap up the crypto portion of this video. And if you want 12 stocks from Webull, which is this platform you're looking at right now, use that link down below, or go to stocksurfast.com/Webull, deposit any amount of money, and you get 12 stocks. And who doesn't like free money in a bear market? In this type of market we're in right now, It's literally free money, and it also helps out the channel, guys. I appreciate you all, as always. Cheers. And with that being said, let's get into some stocks. We have some earnings to go over. We have AMD, Airbnb, Devon Energy, and a couple of other companies to talk about, including MicroStrategy and some off the watch list here. So AMD ended up reporting, and last I checked, it's not really doing much after the bell. Let's take a look here. AMD's Advanced Micro Devices. You guys know this company, or at least you should know this company, and you should know that it is down a lot. This stock was at 160, almost 70 a share just about a year ago, and now it's at $60 a share. Unbelievable. And you guys know that I bought this, I sold out of it. And funny story is, you guys know I bought it in the low mid 70s, sold at 118. I've told that before. But another thing I almost did was I almost shorted AMD after I sold out of it. I sold out at 118. I think it ran up to 150, 155 shortly after that. And I was like, this is just ridiculous. This is way overbought, overvalued, and I almost shorted it. And I've been honest with you guys on the channel, I'm not a big shorter. I really rarely ever short stocks. But in that case, with those circumstances back then, about a year ago, I was about to short it. And obviously, guys, hindsight's 2020, but could you imagine if I actually shorted it and held it up until today? It'd be a great trade. But obviously, hindsight against 2020, and everybody could say that. Everybody could be like, oh, this trade or this stock, imagine if I did that. I was about to do that, but I didn't do it. And, I wish I did do it. But obviously, in the game of the stock market, we can't go back in time, and we can't really dwell on things like that because we can't go back in time. But I just figured I'd share that with you guys. And I'm not sure if you remember that, but I made a video on that about a year ago at this point, where I was contemplating shorting it. I should have done it, but then again, if I did short it, would I have held it all the way till now? No shot. I would have locked in my profits fairly quickly, but we like having fun, guys. We like thinking in hypothetical situations here on this channel. So let's talk about it. AMD ended up doing 67 cents versus 68 cents in EPS, and that missed, obviously, as revenue came in at $5.57 billion versus $5.62 billion estimated. So they actually missed on EPS, and they missed on revenue. And for Q4 guidance, they see about $5.2 to about $5.8 billion, which is a little bit under the $5.85 billion. At least the upper end of that range is a little bit under. The lower end is obviously a good chunk under that $5.85 billion estimate. And they see full year 22 revenue of $23.2 to about $23.8 billion, which is kind of right in line, a little bit under on the lower end of the estimate, but right in line with that $23.88 billion estimate. And gross margin for the third quarter was 42%. I'm not sure what it used to be. I'm sure that gross margin has come down a little bit, but that's not bad. 42% is not bad for gross margin here for AMD, and you'd think the stock would be going down. I mean, they missed on EPS, missed on revenue. The lower end of the guidance was under the estimate, but the stock's actually going up a little bit. It's up about 2.5% here after the bell. Not bad, and to be honest, this earnings report didn't really cause a huge shift in the stock. I mean, it's pretty much still where it's at, where it has been the past couple of weeks. You can see ever since, I think what did we get in the beginning of October regarding AMD? Did they cut profit, or they lowered their guidance or something like that? I forget exactly what happened, but the stock went from 70 to about 55, which that's a 20% drop, and it's just been pretty much flat from that point. And this earnings report really didn't come to a surprise to anybody. The stock is again moving up. So this was essentially, in other words, priced in already, is what I'm trying to get at here. And in the very short term, guys, I have alerts at 65, at 70, but I'm looking more at, let's say in the very, very short term, $62. You guys can see here that was resistance. It's been resistance up until today, and really throughout the entire course of the latter half of October. So if 62 is able to break on AMD, you guys can see that here. That's a big spot. We could end up going to 65, maybe towards $70 in the short term. I'm not banking on it. I'm not YOLOing my entire portfolio on this, but I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to set my alerts, and I'm going to trade it accordingly. And mind you guys, these are all for trades, not for long-term investments. These stocks I'm looking at here are for trades. So my one alert is at 62. Another one's at 65. Another one is at $70. So AMD, not that bad of a reaction to the earnings. A lot of that, again, was priced in. Do you own AMD? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and let me know in general what you guys think about the markets down below. And if you haven't done that, or hit the like button already, if you haven't done that yet, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Make sure to subscribe to my second channel as well, Stas Talks Money. That's linked right down below. I make content there. I try to a bunch of times or a couple times a week, pretty much every other day. So go check it out. And with that being said, Airbnb. Did you guys see the reaction on Airbnb? Yeah, this is a little bit opposite to what we're seeing with AMD. AMD, again, is moving up a little bit. Airbnb is actually cratering here after the bell. At one point, and mind you, it closed at 109. At one point, it got to 98. It was down 11% initially when the earnings came out. Now it's rebounded to about 102, 103. It's up 5-6% roughly from that low, but still it is down about, let's see here, 5% after the bell. So Airbnb did EPS of $1.79 versus $1.45 estimated on revenue of $2.88 billion versus $2.84 billion estimated. So they beat EPS, beat revenue, and they see Q4 revenue of $1.8 to $1.88 billion, which is above the 1.85, or pretty much right in line with the 1.85 billion estimate. So this market that we're in right now, I would have to speculate, is very difficult for Airbnbs, right? Sure, unemployment rate, it's not that high yet. People are still doing all right, I guess. Sure, inflation's rocking a lot of people more in the middle class. Obviously, folks that are rich, or they're very wealthy, that they have the additional income to really not feel inflation, right? So what I'm trying to get at here is, people, are they going to be vacationing and going to these exotic Airbnbs as often as they were if we do get into a really nasty recession? Because we're already in a recession. We know that. I mean, forget what the White House and Jerome Powell says. We're already in a recession, no doubt. But if it gets worse, if it gets uglier, is this going to be a problem for Airbnb? And think about it. Are people going to be, with the real estate market the way it is right now, 7-8% interest rates, mortgage rates for the 30-year, it might go higher, probably will go higher in the short term. Are people, or are as many people going to be going out there buying properties and listing them on Airbnb when maybe they can't even cash flow on that property, or they can't afford the mortgage because the interest rates are crazy, or it doesn't make sense to buy the property. The rent won't cover, or the Airbnb won't cover the mortgage, right? You know what I mean? So with the, economy, the environment we're in right now, I would have to say it's going to be difficult for Airbnb. That's my speculation. People, again, maybe traveling hasn't been hit that much yet, but if the recession gets worse, traveling is going to get hit. And on top of that, it's kind of like a double whammy. People aren't going to be buying as many properties. We're going to see less listings, and the numbers are not going to make sense with all these high freaking mortgage rates, right? When a property was at 2, 3, 4% on a 30-year, it was a lot easier to cash flow it than at 11%, right? And prices haven't come down that much yet either. So you know what I mean, right? It's going to be difficult, I feel like, for Airbnb. And they didn't do that bad. I mean, they beat EPS, beat revenue, guidance is all right. But the stock is still being punished, and it's down again about 5-6% after the bell. It's about to break under the lows here from the end of September, right around $100. I'll actually put an alert there. If we do break that point, this probably is going to start bleeding down a little bit. We're probably going to start getting towards those lows from June, July. That is possible. So Airbnb, sure, it could be opening up for a long-term investment potentially here in the short term. Valuations do get destroyed. But personally, it's really not one that I'd like to buy. But I'm still covering it because it's one of the biggest companies that reported today, and it's one that you guys have to watch. And I hope you really found value, a little bit of value at least, in the insight that I mentioned on it. It mentioned, even though, again, I'm not the biggest fan of buying this stock. So what do you think? Do you own Airbnb? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And let's talk about a couple of more. We have Devon Energy. They reported ticker symbol DVM, and this surprised me a little bit. They actually cut their dividend from $1.35, from $1.55 to $1.35. That's a pretty decent cut there, and they missed on EPS, 218 versus 221 estimated, and I'm not sure what their revenue was, but overall, they cut their dividend, which that's not what investors would like to see. And you can see here, I mean, it's not causing the stock to be destroyed completely, but it is down a little bit, 3%. And I'd have to say, a lot of that has to be from them cutting their dividend and obviously missing slightly on earnings per share. So Devon Energy is one that I believe is right by all-time highs. Actually, no, it's not. It's not even close. I keep confusing. There's some energy companies that are near all-time highs, at all-time highs. There's others that are not even close. Yeah, this is one that's not close, and I believe, was MPC another one that was not close? Or actually, no, that's not it. Was it MRO? Maybe MRO. Either way, actually, no, it was BP. We talked about it earlier in today's, earlier in an earlier video, right? So going back to DVN, this stock is right by the highs now from 2014, right around 78, 80 bucks. If this does break, even though they slashed the dividend, missed on EPS, it could still break. I mean, it's possible. If it does, let's say break 80, I'll put my alert there now. Mark is at or above 80. There could be a push towards the next gap to fill, which was from the 2011 high at about $95. And if $95 breaks, look at Devon Energy, guys, in 2008. The stock was at $127 a share. That is where this could be going. So DVN, watch out for it. It's interesting to see. Some energy companies are raising their dividend, crushing earnings, crushing revenue. Others are not doing that well, cutting the dividend. So what do you guys think? And another one here that I want to look at is MicroStrategy, which you can see here is down, it looks like. Actually, no, it's up a little bit after the bell, rather, but it did go down on the day about 4%. And what we're noticing on MicroStrategy is an inverse head and shoulders. You guys see that? I think we covered this in my 5 stocks that are about to squeeze video a couple of weeks ago. I forget exactly when that was, but either way, we have an inverse head and shoulders, a golden cross. We're now above the highs from, it looks like, the beginning of last month, October, and above the moving averages. So let's see if buyers start coming in here at about, let's say, 250, 245, right around the moving averages on their earnings or after their earnings. They ended up doing $125 million versus $127.5 on revenue that missed, and EPS, they lost a good amount of money, $2.39. I believe that was that adjusted? Let me see here. Either way, they lost. I don't think it's adjusted, but yeah, they lost $2.39 in earnings per share. And if you guys remember, MicroStrategy was a stock that was very high a couple of years ago, and in 2020, which we're not, or 2000 rather, which we're not going to get into in this video, but it was in 2021 a $1,300 stock, and now it's down about 80-85% from that point. So keep that in mind. This stock is down a lot. It's very risky. It's there's a lot of speculation around it with cryptocurrency. We're not going to talk about that, but as a trade, it could open up an opportunity here in the short term. So let's see what other stocks moved before we do wrap the video up, guys. We had Mercado Libre up about 2% on the day. They report, I believe, tomorrow, or actually in 2 days from now. So watch out for them. They're on Thursday after the bell here. There's an alert at 9:50. If that breaks, we could be seeing a lot more upside on Mercado Libre. Meta today, guys, well, I'm acting like it had a great day. But earlier in the day, and mind you, Meta went up 2%. Earlier in the day, it was up almost to $100 a share, though. So at one point, it was up a good amount. We're talking, I think, 5% at one point. Let me double check here. Let's see where it closed yesterday. It was at, let's see, yeah, almost 5%. It closed at about $93 yesterday. Its high of the day was in the mid-97s. Not that bad. So Meta had a pretty good day. Let's see what it could do after what I believe to be capitulation, what we saw a couple days ago. Let's see what that does, guys. And we had Nucor go up. I mean, a lot of stocks. Believe it or not, look at my watch list, guys. A lot of stocks went up today, even though the markets did not do well. Look at all the green on my watch list. We had Nucor break out above these moving averages. You guys can see it. It's closed closed above this this descending triangle. Now we're starting to break out. Applied Materials did pretty well today. It's starting to move above the moving averages. We had Chinese stocks bounce back. Tencent went up 8%. We had Alibaba go up 4%. JD up about a little over 3%. So pretty interesting day today. AMC on the flip side did not do well. Where's GameStop at? Did GameStop do well today? Yeah, it looks like it's consolidating right around 28, 30 bucks. Let's see if it could retake 30 bucks. This is one that I'm going to be watching for the rest of this week. So with that being said, guys, what do you think? What do you guys think? What stocks are you watching? If you want me to cover any stocks, drop them in the comment section down below. Hit the like button. While you're at it, make sure to subscribe as well. And if you want to check out my Patreon, now's the best time to do it. Linked right down below. And don't forget to also get your 15 stocks from Moomoo with a $100 deposit and your 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited. All of those are linked down below. And with that being said, guys, cheers. I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.